What's hatching, Toga Peeps? Welcome to episode 3 of Indigo Blues, where we are going to analyze episode 3 of the Indigo League set of cartoons. Episode 3 is Ash Catches a Pokemon. If you've been watching along, the very end of episode 2, Ash and Caterpie face to face, getting ready to throw down, and Ash is grabbing a Pokeball and goes into his epic catch mode where he flips his hat around, does a huge wind back, and he's like, "Bah!" And jumping into the episode, it pretty much just replayed that for the first 10 seconds. And Ash sucks. A lot. A lot. There have been 2 episodes thus far which span like maybe 3 days. Maybe. Or wait. How long did it take him to get to Viridian City? I don't fucking remember. I don't have it written down either. However long it took him to get to Viridian City, add a day onto that, and that's what's happened in this. So it's maybe been a week. And Ash is still trying to catch Pokemon without battling them. And Lord only knows how he manages to catch Caterpie. And Caterpie, in my opinion, especially in this episode, is somewhat of a personification of Ash, because just like Ash, he's weak, he's considered a pathetic Pokemon, Ash is a pathetic-ass trainer. He doesn't have very many useful attacks, just because, like, Ash has no talent whatsoever. And, but another thing about Caterpie is, especially this Caterpie, has a lot of heart. I mean, even though he's scared of just about everything, he just, again, has a lot of heart and is a very hardy Pokemon. No, who knows what that was. A very rough and tumble Pokemon. Gets knocked around a lot but keeps coming back for more type of thing. But yeah. All in all, this is a very dull, slow, and boring episode because they're pretty much just in Viridian Forest the whole time. And at the end of the episode, they're still in Viridian Forest. And, spoiler alert, the next episode after this one, they're still in freaking Viridian Forest. But yeah, Ash doesn't even try and attack Caterpie, and I'm pretty sure Pikachu's out for this. He just throws a Pokeball, and luckily he catches him. But just like in the game, the Pokeball does the jiggle thing and the blinks when you catch it. But absolutely terrible, Ash. We hate you. Who's That Pokemon was Caterpie, which was the novel Pokemon for the episode. Of course, it appeared after you found out who Caterpie was, so it wasn't a surprise like Coughing was in the previous episode, where you had never seen it before, type of thing. Shortly after Ash catches Caterpie, he catches his second Pokemon, which ends up being his second Pokemon for quite a while, if I'm not mistaken. And he catches Pidgeotto, which is his first non-basic form Pokemon. Pidgeotto being stage 1 in the evolutionary chain, yada yada. Something strange that happens here is we see our first instance that I'm going to say the video game mechanics aren't followed so much with the attacks. And it actually happens twice. Once when Ash is catching Pidgeotto, he has Pikachu use Thunder Shock, and it looks like it paralyzes Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto stopped, it's frozen, and it has the yellow staticky electric bolts floating around it. So that's Thunder Shock. I don't believe has the ability to paralyze, but whatevs. Another thing is String Shot. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with Godzilla movies, but the Godzilla Mothra versus Mothra movie, the little larva caterpillar things after Mothra, spoiler alert, gets killed, this is pretty much how they fight off Godzilla and save Tokyo, or wherever the hell it happens to be, I don't remember. They just spit this gooey, silky string all over everything, and they can't move, it gets flung around, and Caterpie does this, and Ash specifically tells it to use String Shot. So we know that's what it is. It's just not some mystery move that isn't explained till later. But he uses String Shot, and it completely binds Coughing, Ekans, and freaking Meowth. So that's bleh. Another interesting thing we find out here is Ash refers to the Pokemon League rules. And this is when Jesse and James go to fight Ash. They use both Coughing and Ekans. And Ekans says, hey, you can't do that. Pokemon League rule says it has to be 1v1. Blah, blah, blah. So this is one of the rules we'll find, which I don't think lasts till the end of the series. But whatever. Another thing that happens is the first ever mention of blasting off with Team Rocket. But all they do is run away. They don't fly off and do the little speckle thing off in the horizon. No, they just run away. And that's after Caterpie beats the shit out of them. A few extra informational tidbits on this episode. Caterpie beats Meowth and Ekans and Coughing, and then shortly thereafter evolves. Goes into Metapod. Dexter makes the compliment. The comment that this was the fastest evolution ever seen, which was Caterpie to Metapod. And that is one episode it takes Ash to get Caterpie to Metapod, which is like, what, 6 levels in real life? Or the game? Which, I mean, still extremely fast. But, like I said, another thing about this episode, they take an entire episode to develop the single fact that Misty is scared shitless of bugs. And they're only around bugs for this episode and like the next one. So that was really freaking stupid. Like the first 20 minutes of the episode is just Misty, oh, I hate bugs, the whole time. It's fucking annoying and stupid. But overall, I'm going to generously give this episode a 5 of 10. It should be lower because, like I said, nothing really happens. But the reason I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 is a little bit of sentimental value because, in my opinion, at least for the Indigo League and probably a lot after that, Caterpie, even though, I'm not going to say what happens, even though he's only with Ash for the brief stint that he is during the Indigo Plateau series, he, in my opinion, is Ash's most useful and best Pokemon, at least for the Indigo League setup. At least that much. We'll talk about it in future episodes, but as Caterpie slowly evolves, it's Metapod by the end of the episode, and will soon to be Butterfree. But after it evolves, I mean, especially this episode, it completely destroys everything the whole episode. But henceforth, Metapod Butterfree pretty much is Ash's go-to Pokemon. I mean, it just freaking does everything. But yeah, we'll talk more about that as it goes. Like I said, 5 of 10 because there's no character development aside from the fact that Misty's scared shitless of bugs. Team Rocket really doesn't do anything besides walk through the forest and try to catch Pikachu. And Ash really doesn't do anything besides catch Pokemon. So, 5 of 10. This has been episode 3 of the Indigo Blues. Thank you very much. As always, this is Tuppleton. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.